So I'm very excited to be here. I always tell Faygie that I totally do a Chatzos Shabbos. I start everything after Chatzos on Friday. Like, that's perfect, you know? And sometimes, even though she won't admit this, she'll come to my house on Friday afternoon and it's like bustling and busy, and she'll say, oh, I see, it's like really fun, there's like a vibe, you know, like there is an energy here, so I see it. But then I go to her house on Shabbos and she's relaxed. And how do you explain the concept of the Chatzos Shabbos?
Okay, so the word Chatzos, if you look at the Shoresh of it, it's like Chatzi. Chatzos is half. So Chatzos means the halachic midpoint. It could be Chatzos Halayla, which we reference when we're eating the afikomen, or it could be Chatzos Hayom. Really, it doesn't come up so much in terms of like practical applications, but Chatzos on Friday, midday Friday, halachic midday, which now is like 1:30, 1:45 in Detroit, where it's like crazy, crazy late, is a time when Kabbalistically, the Kedusha Shabbos starts coming into the home. So Chatzos Shabbos is an age-old concept that by that time, you're transitioning. You're transitioning from the chaos of the week into the calm of Shabbos. You're not completely in Shabbos. You're still doing malacha, you're doing light tasks, but you're transferring at that time. So again, this is not something that's halacha. The time is just a mile marker. Nobody says you need to be completely ready by then, but that's where the concept comes from, that the Kedusha of Shabbos is coming into the home at that time. So that's when you want things to start calming down, not picking up the pace.
What? I thought this was a safe space.
Oh, totally not. No rules right here.
So with that said, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about Chatzos?
Right, so I already touched on one. So first misconception is that
sounds right.
You can't do anything after Chatzos. That's not true. You're cutting up a salad, you're putting chicken that was marinated into the oven, you're taking a shower, you're bathing kids, you're going to the gym, you're doing stuff, you're doing malacha, that's fine. But you're mostly, and that mostly is all in caps, you are mostly ready for Shabbos. Come, sit. It means, like I said, that at midday, whether you're home or whether you're in the office, it's transition time. So you leave as little as possible for Friday afternoon. What does that mean? You have to shift things earlier in the week. If your usual day to make a menu and make a shopping list is Wednesday or Thursday, shift that to Tuesday. I'll get more into that with the practical side of things. Another misconception is, and I had a Rebbitzin tell, it wasn't me, someone was trying to convince her that I should come speak in the community, and she said, our women work, so this is not for them. Right, thank you. That is so validating. People who work need this even more. If you're home, you could, put something in the oven and then go do that. And if you're in the office and you come home from work at 3, 4, 5 o'clock, which, Mommy, you did, you need to be prepared in advance. You can't start making Shabbos at 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon. So second big misconception.
Okay, so what was the passion that drove this initiative for you?
The passion. So the way I discovered it is I was working at Beth Jacob in Atlanta, and the Shabbos Project was coming up. So we were trying to identify some program, some initiative that we can work on as a community to advance, to elevate the way we keep Shabbos. So I'm just searching on the internet, and I came across a site by Azriela Jaffe. Anyone recognize that name? She's a professor of public speaking at Rutgers University. She's a Balas Tshuva. She speaks about this very openly and publicly. And she woke up her daughter one Friday morning, and her daughter said, I hate Shabbos. She was saying, come on, wake up, it's Friday, we gotta get to school, there's a lot going, it's a busy day. I hate Shabbos. And Azriela said to her, like a good, validating parent, no, you don't. On Shabbos, special clothing, special treats, more quality time. So she, tried to, whatever. But she did a lot of thinking after that conversation, and it sort of stopped her cold. She realized she's a very punctual person. She's a very organized person. But somehow her Fridays were totally chaotic. So this woman sort of created a modern day Chatzos movement maybe 20 years ago. So I found her website, read all about this concept of Chatzos Shabbos, which I'd never heard of. And I thought, wow, I need that. It was like a magnet drawing me in. I was like, gimme. And I'm also relatively organized, yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks. But somehow my Friday afternoons were crazy. I was like, what is this? Oh, there's so much more to say. Okay, I'm capping it there.
Okay.
But anyway, so Azriela was actually retiring 6-7 years ago, I was like so intrigued by it. I took it on myself and decided I'm going to educate the world about it. I was working full time then, but about 2 years ago, I resigned, and now I'm doing it much more full time. So the passion.
So that drives your passion. What happened?
Do I have 30 more seconds?
Yeah.
So I was talking to my mother one day and telling her about this like amazing concept that I'd never heard of, Chatzos Shabbos, and she said, my mother was always ready by Chatzos. We came home from school. You said she would be drinking a cup of coffee, totally calm when you came home from school. Friday afternoons, they would go to the JCC and go swimming, and I think take showers for Shabbos, and come home, and that's it. So things were ready, things were prepared. So I never met this Bubby. She passed away at 40. Never met any of her grandkids, and I'm doing what she did. Like, quick, make a joke.
So that keeps you. So that kind of keeps you going, I guess.
That if I wasn't
'Cause we all
passionate
have
before
passion,
then,
but passion, you know, like sometimes it's like, okay, it's so passionate, but it's also like, I'm tired and I don't want to do this. So then you could think about Bobby Esther, and then you know, like, I got to keep going, I have to keep doing this.
yes,
And that's
yes,
what drives
yes,
you, basically.
Yes, I feel like it's rooted
Because some
in me.
people could easily say like, okay, that's your passion, but it's not mine. But even this goes beyond passion, because it will also just obviously calm their Fridays. So
Yes.
So why do people struggle with so much stress on Friday today?
So that's a great question, and the answer that I've been telling people is whenever there's the potential for kedusha, like the potential for something really amazing to happen, there's going to be a counter force working against it. Like I've been having a lot of issues with certain projects lately, and I keep saying, wow, this is going to be so successful. Like a little bit of a twisted response to it. So the potential for kedusha is huge. Shabbos is mein olam haba, right? It's the makor habracha. It's when the curtain is revealed on God, and we can have like the closest connection to Him. The Yetzer Hara, Toma, whatever those counter forces be, they don't like that, so they're going to fight against it. So that's what I was telling people. But then I picked up this Indian magazine. I know you're going to read it, right?
I'm going to read
Rabbi Ephraim Shapiro from North Miami Beach. First of all, I went to a friend's house who I never go to, and she had to go put her daughter to sleep, so I was making myself comfortable, and I picked up this magazine on top of a pile. It's 8 years old. This is last Shabbos, two Shabbos ago. And the whole thing is called the Gift of Shabbos. And I found an answer. So, I did a Fireside Chat in Chicago, and someone asked me, like, why are Fridays so crazy? And I gave that answer, but then here's more.
Okay. The Mishnah in Pirkei Avos tells us 10 things were created on the first Erev Shabbos of creation. The Mishnah then states there are some who say,
that
one, that on Erev Shabbos, destructive spirits were also created. This can also be understood
homiletically.
Thank you. Older sister. On Erev Shabbos, destruction can be created very quickly. Mazikin are forces that destroy. We get angry and tense more quickly. We have less patience and are quick to blame. Mazikin can destroy our shalom bayis. They can shatter the calm and joy that should usher in the Shabbos queen. When a person brings confusion, tension, a sharp tongue, a quick temper into Erev Shabbos, it is a recipe for disaster.
Right. So even if what that's saying is that even if you're an organized type, and no matter how much you try, it's a real thing. These mazikin, these like little like things flying around, they're trying to get to you. They're trying to make some chaos. They're trying to make you stressed. They're trying to make things go wrong. Things that are going to go wrong, like fridges breaking down. It's always on Erev Shabbos, right?
Sure.
Yeah? Or Erev 3-day Yontif. Whoa.
For sure.
So that's another reason.
Yeah, so we do see that concept oftentimes. Like the Yetzer Hara comes in when they know that there's trouble to be brewed.
Mm-hmm.
So
we have to have strategy to counter that.
So paint a picture of that strategy for us. How does our Friday look if we are ready by Chatzos?
Okay, so there's two questions. So how do we get there, and what does it look like?
Well, yeah, what's a calmer, joyful, more peaceful Erev Shabbos?
Right. So once you've gotten to the other end of the line, once you've achieved this, where you are mostly ready for Shabbos by Chatzos, first of all, we have that question of like, what are you going to do? So if you have a busy household, you'll find plenty of things to do. But if you have a quieter household, a lot of people use that time to make phone calls, calling relatives. It's basically, like I said in the beginning, it's the time of transitioning from chaos of the week. Even if it's not a chaotic week, it's just you're creating, whatever. You're starting to slow down. So think of activities that align with that. Some of the mothers that I speak to, they sit down with their kids and they look over their parsha questions. Like, the kids that are not going to make it to the table. Some people call a parent, a grandparent, call a friend. Some people go to the gym and then, shower, and like they come in rejuvenated, take a walk in the park, take a nap. It's a Hasidic custom to take a nap on Erev Shabbos, and a lot of people don't know about that. So I had an interview with Razy Fried, and she said her husband used to always say to her, like in the beginning of their marriage, like, take a nap, go take a nap. You go take a nap. I have things I need to do. It's going to stress me out to take a nap.
Right.
But it's an Indian for a reason. You're supposed to come into Shabbos rested. You're supposed to come to the Pesach Seder rested. What Erev Shabbos looks like once you achieve this is going to be a little different in each home. That's the general idea. More peaceful, more relaxed.
Okay. Can you tell us about a Friday that went completely wrong for you, or like a total epic failure?
By the way, that's totally not a question, but
Not
yes.
a question. Not on script.
It has to do with a bash and very overzealous yeast and someone cutting me off and, whatever.
By the way, so you said, Hannah, you can go off topic, but just tell me in advance what you're going to say. Yeah, right.
I don't like surprises.
You're not going to give any questions in advance?
Yes, things always go perfectly for me, so I'm just going to have to pass that question.
What's the biggest pushback or skepticism that you see from people? Like me, for example.
Yeah. Hannah said, can I do a reverse Chatzos Shabbos? Like you said, yeah, do everything after. The biggest skepticism, honestly, there really isn't.
People really see results. Like they see change in their life, they see change in their shalom bias.
Totally.
Okay.
I have not yet had someone say, nah, this is not for me. I'm going back.
So that leads us to our on-script next question, which is like, who can benefit from?
So it's so funny, like when you're building a business, you're supposed to identify your target audience.
Right.
My target audience is literally every single from a 3-year-old. Okay, maybe the 2-year-olds are not so. 3-year-old up to a 95-year-old. I gave a Fireside Chat in Indianapolis, and the sweetest woman walked in. Her name was Esther, and she told me she's 95 years old. And she was so engaged in our conversation. She was telling us how she had to clean the chickens, and nowadays we have it so easy. But her mother had it much harder because she had to go shech the chicken. So basically, my audience literally is everyone. So it's men, women, children. Men and women who work in offices. So first of all, if you work for yourself and you can control your hours, this is Shulchan Aruch, this is halacha, this is not like a concept. If you can control your hours, the Shulchan Aruch says very clearly that work done after after Mincha Gedola on Friday, there's no bracha on it. So if you work for someone else and you can't control your hours, you're doing a wonderful thing. You should be blessed. Keep going. Don't leave early. Don't get fired. But if you could control your hours, it's a huge bracha. And it's becoming a thing. Mr. Ben Heineman of BP Print Group, anyone have heard of it? You print your benchers there, your whatever. So after October 7th, he decided he's going to close his business at Chatzos. It's huge. He has 100 from women who work for him. So it's huge for them, like giving them that oxygen, like, wow, I can go home at Chatzos and like just really focus on Shabbos.
What's the smallest first step someone can take if they want to make action, but they can't just jump in?
Right, smallest first step. So it's a little bit different for everyone. Is that your foot? Mm-hmm. Setting the table Thursday night is a huge Indian. Any of you do that already? It's pretty typical, yeah? So when you set the table, even if there's chaos in the kitchen, even if you're really not completely ready, that visual is extremely powerful. It says, we are ready for the Shabbos Queen. Like, we're ready. We're still finishing things up in the background, but that's a very powerful first step. And I want to share, if we still have a minute, there's a high school in Atlanta called Tamima High School, and they did a play one year that was all about Shabbos, different scenes, different concepts. So one of the scenes was an old school chuppah, like a chasna. You saw the townspeople, the rabbi, the kala, parents, everybody crowded around, and they're just standing there. And it was awkward like this. Like I'm sitting there in the audience, and you're just sitting there waiting, okay? And they waited a good 3-4 minutes of total silence. And suddenly from stage left runs the chassan with his hat crooked and his tie not tied, and he's tucking in his shirt. And he goes, I'm here. We can get married now. And it hit me. That's how we come into Shabbos.
Right.
You just painted your nails because you just have to paint your nails and they're not dry yet, and this is happening, and someone's still blow drying her hair, and it's just, is that respectful to Shabbos? I mean,
so do you wake up like on Friday morning and say, okay, Faygie, today Chatzos is at 12:53, and then at like 12:50, what does it look like? Are you like scrambling for the 3 minutes, or are you like, okay, it's okay because I'm like on track here?
It's not about the minute of Chatzos. It's about all those other shifts. It's about moving things earlier in the week. It's also about keeping your to-do list sustainable. That's a very important part of this. Some of us are doing way too much for Shabbos. Okay, I'm gonna get on my high horse. But it's not sustainable to make 5 entrees and 11 dips and 3 desserts for 2 to 3 meals a week. And that's what's killing a lot of us. So lower the standards. That's a big message in all of my Chatzos, Gift of Chatzos messaging. Keep things reasonable. Use time management skills like the 4Ds. I don't know if you've heard of the 4Ds list. I think it has some kind of official name, but you look at a to-do list that's just too long. It's not manageable. And you assign do, defer, delegate, and delete to each thing. The do's you have to do. The defers you can push off till Monday. Delegate, you do it. And delete just goes bye-bye.
See, she's organized.
There's time management.
True.
Yeah, there's things that you could use to... What was the question?
I'm not, I think I made
do I wake up Friday morning?
Yeah, I made that one up.
But that's also in the Shulchan Aruch, by the way, and this is halacha, that you're supposed to wake up early on Friday morning to get ready for Shabbos. So for those of you that want to know, it's usually the men, I don't know why, they want to know halacha, you know, they want to know practical.
So it does sound like you did answer the next question though, which is what tools or habits help people make lasting changes? So shifting earlier.
Right, so really with anything that you're trying to change, one of the strongest things that'll make the new habits stick is habit stacking. Are you familiar with habit stacking?
No.
Certain exercises I want to do as I age that I just never remember to do. So as I'm brushing my teeth, I do exercises, or as I'm checking my romaine lettuce, I do these exercises. Something I know I'm going to do either every day or every week, I stick it to that. So if there's something that you do on Sunday, every Sunday without fail, like, I don't know, check your kid's backpack or do something to plan for the week. So also say, I'm going to add 5 minutes and I'm going to make my menu then. Making your menu on Sunday means you kind of like have it in your mind the rest of the week. You know what you need to buy. You can check your freezer. If it's a busy week, you're going to check your freezer and you're going to see what you have that could be slipped into the menu. So habit stacking is the first thing, the time management thing that I just told you about. Mm-hmm. And then keeping your to-do list realistic. Like, don't overdo it. It's it's like this thing, you know, besides for Jewish guilt, but we try to be super women and we're so proud of it. Like, oh, I'm such a schmuck. I have so much to do. That's not cool anymore. It's cool to just be present. So what are those other buzzwords?
I don't know, but like for me, for example, I know it'll be an hour before Shabbos and I'll look around and I'll be like, we're missing cookies.
I know
we're missing
coming.
Cookies.
Okay, so
what do you say to that? What do you say to the? And no, maybe it is the Yetzer Hara saying you need cookies, but it's also my stomach. It's also my kids.
Right. And you justify. You say it's L'Kavod Shabbos Kodesh. It's so nice to have lots of desserts.
How do we shut that voice off?
Okay, so that's where a commitment comes in. Your first step might be one commitment. Like figure out what your challenge area is, your pain point, your thing that gets you. For me, that was my first step. I think I already set the table Thursday night because that was a thing in our house to set the table Thursday night. I don't know, but for me, I said no more adding something on Friday afternoon. And boy, is that hard. I love baking.
So
I love cooking. Menu. Either stick to the menu, which I don't stick to the menu, but I stick to that commitment. Make a commitment that this is your first step, whatever it is. Switch your shopping day, cut back your menu, whatever it looks like. But yes.
Don't do it, basically.
Yes.
So in closing, if somebody listening tonight walks away remembering just one thing about the Gift of Chatzos, or can take away one thing with them, what would you want that one thing to be?
It sounds a little bit cliche, but that it's a gift. And that's why I called it that. It just seemed so obvious. But you're giving yourself a gift, and it ends up being breathing room. It's, like, I don't have to feel this pressure that everyone thinks is the normal way to go into Shabbos or Pesach or Yontif. And I want to create a massive change in the Jewish world, around the world. It's a gift. What it's going to look like what color it's going to be, what it's going to feel like, it's going to be a little different for all of you. But just that it's a gift that you give to yourself and all the people in your home and the people that you impact. So it's a little fluffy, but that's what I want you to remember. Some of the resources that Gift of Chatzos offers, a lot of the things I talked about are on the website, giftofchatzos.org. One of the most beautiful things, if you need motivation, is there's a list of rabbinic sources on there. So you have maybe 3 dozen Rabbanim, you have Sephardic Rabbanim, you have Ashkenazi, you have Hasidish, you have Litvish from 100 years ago, from 10 years ago. And it's either a little story like, someone couldn't have children and they went to the Rav and they said this, or someone needed help with Parnasa, and every single comment there, every story mentions Chatzos Shabbos specifically, this concept. Yeah.
So where has it been?
Where has it been? And not only that, someone asked me this at a chat, which really put me on the spot. She said, Oh, so have you seen bracha in your family since you took this?
I was
up?
about to ask her that. Held back.
And
So tell us something. Are you comfortable sharing something?
yeah, not so much, because I don't think those things are supposed to be shared, but
Right.
this is my hometown and my people. So yes, we have 5 members of our family, now 7 with the 2 chasnas we've had in the last 4 years since I took this on, 5 years. We've had big improvements in certain jobs, certain career roles, certain people's massive health issues have improved. Yeah, so when that person asked me the question, I had never thought about it, but all of a sudden I was like, oh, wow.
So it's a gift to yourself, it's a gift to everybody around you,
Yeah,
certainly.
I had only focused on the practical side, like, oh, good, things are more calm. But if you look at what these rabbanim say, it goes way deeper. On the chat, this woman posted one morning, like maybe a few months ago, I had a baby this morning and I'm calling him my Chatzos baby. Yeah. So 9 months prior, she wanted to take a certain mitzvah on for a relative that had been trying to have a baby. So she started being mostly ready for Shabbos by Chatzos, making all these changes, and she just had a baby that morning. She texted us from the hospital. She posted, her relative didn't have a baby yet, but she did. So that's what I'm saying. This gift, you don't know what it's going to look like, but it's going to give you gifts. It's a gift that keeps giving.
Are you open to taking some questions?
Yes. So just to finish the resources, how you can get more involved. I think I've given you a lot of ideas. I think I've overloaded you, but the website has all different kinds of resources. We do these fireside chats to onboard a community and just introduce the concept. Like, here's what it's about. There's something called the CCI, Chatzos Community Initiative, which loops in a whole entire household. And it could be an individual, it could be an empty nester couple, it could be a big family. And what it is, it's like a 3-week program with like commitment sheets for the kids and checklists for the parents and weekly raffle prizes. And it just makes it more fun. And it's the whole community working on it together. So we did it in Atlanta, we did it in Stamford. This summer during the 3 weeks, we're doing it in Chicago, Phoenix. I think there's a group in Atlanta again. So CCI is another program that will offer Mitzvah Shem in the fall, like after the Yom HaNoraim. I also offer 15-minute consultations, free, just one consultation per person, where I save you 15% or less.
Because it's free.
And because I have all the answers, of course. No, but the point there is to kind of like have an outsider look in and say, well, what about this? Like, what do you want to target? And then a month later, I follow up with just like a little check-in, like, how's that going? So the consults, and then the WhatsApp chat that I mentioned is a support group. Mm-hmm. And I think we're up to 390, 400 women. But what's beautiful about it is it's so global. We have Switzerland, yes. South Africa, we have Australia, we have Israel, Toronto, England. And our 300th woman who joined, this is back in March. When someone joins, I say, we need your first and last name and city for security reasons. And that's a real thing, because we've had spammers try to join. So the woman, her number was like 32353321, like it just went on forever. So I was like, okay, I don't think this is real. So I said, what city? Subotica, Serbia. I was like, I don't think so. So I texted my Rav, just out of curiosity, like, is there a From community in Subotica? And he was like, I never heard of it. I'll ask my rabbi's chat. And meanwhile, I Googled it, and I see not only is there a From community with maybe 3 people in Subotica, Serbia, but the president of the shul, his last name is Sabados. And this woman, her last name was Sabados.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Are any of you catching the deeper meaning here?
Sabados.
Sabados means Sabbath.
Right, okay.
Her last name means Shabbos. Her city, Subotica, I looked it up. Subotica is Sabbath.
Wow.
And she was the 300th member.
What happens if people call you on Friday afternoon and they want to come?
So you can everyone handles that differently. So either you can say, this is a thing that happens to me and I'm going to prepare extra. Or you can say, you know what? I would so love to have you, but I'm a Chatzoser and I don't cook on Friday afternoon. So if you're okay with a smaller piece of chicken, come, bring a friend. Totally not something I would ever say. That's what Azriela Jaffe says, and I believe her. So some of you could pull it off.
I would run to the store and buy more chicken because I am not a Chatzoser.
But if you decide you're going to make this commitment for a certain Yeshua in your family, or for your sister, or whatever.
I'm just saying, I do a few things earlier. I started
You do.
baby steps.
I noticed.
Yes.
And I admitted to Henna that when we first changed this at my house, my daughter Devorah came to me and she was like, I kind of miss the old way. She was like, we had music playing and Svi's making potato kugel and you're reaching over him and I'm reaching over her and it's like this like fun, energetic vibe. She loves people. She's a people person. She was born on a lap. But meanwhile, I kept looking at the clock, like, am I gonna have time to wash that? What am I sticking in the oven to hide? Like, it really was stressful for me. So the boring way is not so great, but you decide, this is something special we're gonna do on Friday afternoon. There's a mother who buys special projects for her kids. No glitter, nothing messy. But, you know,
Still play music.
you could still play music. You
Right,
could
and
play
also,
games.
Part
You
of
could
what,
play muksa games that you can't play on Shabbos. So remember, it's that transition time. It's like the halfway.
right. And like in terms of just liking a hot potato kugel, there's no contradiction there because you could still have it. You know, like one thing that I did actually start doing is peeling my potatoes on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So we have suggestions for each day of the week. Sunday
Thank
might
you,
be
Rivka.
make a menu, invite guests. And by the way, we have this like sub initiative called Shabbos Meal Shadchan. And what I try to encourage people to do is if you're going to invite guests anyway, invite them earlier in the week. The people who need invitations, not like you and your friends getting together, the people who really need invitations, they start getting a little anxious as the week gets on. So you're doing a real like mitzvah on top of the mitzvah to reach out earlier in the week.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Basically?
so it's up to you. Because again, this is not halacha. But if you decide you're making a commitment to this chatzos thing, you're going to get tested. Sorry. That's a guarantee. You're going to get tested. Yeah.
And
yeah.
we're gonna call you, by the way. I will call
Yeah.
you on our Shabbos one week. I'll be like, hey, can I come?
But,
Or maybe I'll send some other buffer your way on our Shabbos.
yeah, bring your own chicken.
Bring my own chicken.
So,
BYOC.
again, none of this is halacha. Like, I'm so in the habit of setting the table Thursday night. So last Shabbos, I was at my mother's house, and I was ready to set the table Thursday night, but she was hosting everyone for a Friday lunch. It was one table. So you can't do it. So I stacked up the dishes in the corner, right? I stacked up the dishes, I stacked up the tablecloth, just like it was waiting there ready. So there are times you have to compromise on even what you decide you're doing. And you always have to prioritize. Okay, my husband's son, whatever, is going to be learning at the table and he really wants to learn. I can't really set it there, but I'm going to set the rest of it. So it's balancing things. Any other questions?
Aviva, did you have a question?
Oh, I actually had my 15-minute consultation.
Oh, you have a book. Signed and sealed.
It was great.
Delivered. Oh, you had it already.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, well, you want to switch seats?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I will tell you from that conversation, from our 15-minute consultation, I did say like what I gained from it was a really good shalom bias conversation that I went home with. I mean, like,
Right.
this doesn't stress me out, but how do you feel about this? It was like,
Oh, that's interesting.
Just checking in with your better half, right? Not that he's the better half, I mean, just, I don't know. But something very beautiful, and you all know I was supposed to speak Monday night, but yeah.
I gave her a cold, okay? It was
Every
100%
time I
me.
come, she says, here, take what I had.
I think I got it from my buffet. And she was,
Who
I
cares?
say,
This
don't
stuff
say I never
happens.
gave you anything.
Right, you gave me plenty, but I think it's very, very auspicious that
Did you
we're
hear me
doing
read?
this. It's the beginning of the 3 weeks, and the 3 weeks we're mourning the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash. What are we really doing? We're yearning for the Geula, and we know that if all of Jewry keeps Shabbos, then the Geula will come. So to start working on Shabbos during the 3 weeks is perfect. You're telling Hashem, like, I'm here.
Right. We get like Shabbos and Gehenna Mock, so I feel like I wonder if like Chatzos would count. Like if I start like
Oh,
at Friday
wow.
afternoon.
Wow, what a
That's
selling
so
point.
interesting.
So for those
Okay.
who are going to be down there, you're saying their Shabbos will start at 1 o'clock,
It's like if
not
I
at
start
9
Shabbos
o'clock.
now, if I'm like thinking about it already, like
I'm going to bring you with me on all future Fireside Chat. Yes.
will I be ready on time if I'm traveling that much?
Yeah, you totally will. You
Okay.
get into a groove. Okay, so, yeah.
Do you not travel on Friday anymore because of this?
Good question.
Because we travel on Friday all the time.
Yes,
question.
next week I'm flying home. I'm driving to a few more cities and then going to where my husband works, and then we're going to fly home Friday morning. But I actually did ask a Shaila about this. Everyone has to ask their Shaila. It's definitely better. Our Rosh Kolel, Rabbi Pransky said, you should not fly somewhere where you're going to arrive after Chatzos. Not halacha.
Right.
It's better not to. In other words, if you're going to land after Chatzos. Right.
What's your funny story?
Okay, so we had a couple, I mentioned this Shabbos Meal Shadchan program where we set people up for meals. It's only in Atlanta now, but other cities are picking up on it. So a couple came to our house from Israel. They were in Atlanta for a robotics conference, and as they were leaving after the meal, they had like a little argument going between them. We had spoken about Chatzos Shabbos at the table. So she turned to me and she said, "Oh, you can solve our dilemma. Our flight back to Israel stops over in England, and then we get to Israel." This was when it was like Shabbos and then Shavuos, a 3-day yontif. Maybe last year or 2 years ago? Not this year. I think it was last year. So she said, "I want to go home to the kids, but we're arriving at 4 o'clock on a Friday. My husband wants to take like an extended vacation." Their parents were watching the kids and stay in England for yontif, for Shabbos and yontif. So she said, "What should we do?" And I said, "I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to paskin." But I shared what the Rav had told me, that it's not good to land after Chatzos. And that was it. They left. Her name is Doraya. So 2 days later, Doraya texts me, "We're going to stay in England. Can you set us up for meals? You know, Shabbos meal shachin. Can you set us up for 6 meals in Golders Green?" And I was like,
Pretty sure I remember that in the family chat. Who knows people in Golders Green?
So I reached out to all my chats and all my networks and everything, and it was completely silent. Tuesday, Wednesday, nothing. And they're getting there 2 days later. It was like so weird. And then anyone who I had like maybe a possible lead, I gave them Doraya's number. I said, just be in touch with her directly. And in the end, like I didn't really know what happened. After Shabbos, she posted on our chat, because she's on our Chatzos chat. She said, "This is my Chatzos miracle." And she had to use Google Translate because she's like a total Israeli. By Friday afternoon, we had 12 invitations for 6 meals. That was my double mun for making the decision not to fly after Chatzos. She missed her kids and wanted to go home, and that's how she saw it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very, very sweet. Any other questions?
Okay, bye. Go home. Prepare for Shabbos.
I have an answer to the question.
Yes.
You asked if we did Chatzos.
Yes.
I was caught off guard, but I really did, because Wednesday night was makeup for the
Right.
Thursday night was costume.
And you're extremely organized. We got all the lists and all the organization and the processes from you.
I did. I mean, I can.
Right, so you knew you had to be ready.
So these lovely ladies, they were brought up with no dips.
That explained absolutely everything.
Oh, we do go to a group therapy session once a week. It's fine.
There was no avocados in our life. We didn't have avocados.
Right.
But everything was different then.
Chicken soup, chum.
Delicious. Blueberry cake. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
Shabbos in an
Blueberry
hour.
cake. You guys remember blueberry cake, Shawnee? No, my mother's blueberry Brazilian bars. You were the best
It was
baker.
Wednesday night.
You still have the
Baking
best
was
baker.
Wednesday night.
Well, I
Wow,
hope you're all
so I didn't
inspired.
know
I'm
that.
definitely inspired. Maybe I'll peel something else, not just the potatoes on Thursday. Maybe a carrot for the soup. I actually don't even peel my carrot to the soup. So someone just asked, we had a question from someone in the audience here, like how do you make Thursday not stressful then? So, okay, great, my Fridays are like, so on my Thursday's a disaster.
Right. So it's a few-part answer. So number one, don't try to do everything on Thursday, because otherwise Thursday becomes the madhouse that Friday was. That's not going to solve anything. You're going to be up till 3 or 4 in the morning. It's 2 things. It's spreading it through the week, and it's also cutting back on your list. Like really, really taking a look at what you're doing and like, is this really doable? But even moving something earlier in the week, even if it's exactly the same chunk of time, like you spend 4 hours Friday afternoon, so you're doing a half hour 8 other days.
Right.
When you're doing it not in a stress mode and not like up to the minute, it feels different. It just feels more relaxed when you do something on Monday rather than a half hour before it's due.
Well, that's why some people say it takes them an entire week to cook for Shabbos, to prep for Shabbos, and that's why, because they start Monday, Tuesday, like every day they do something little, and then they're not overwhelmed, but it takes them an entire week.
Right, and if we shift our perspective from like, that's so weird, to that's so organized and that's so sweet, and now you're going to make your Shabbos much calmer,
Right.
then...
And the family has to be on board. I mean, like when I got married to my she and I started doing my people like I did in Chicago at Thursday night, he's like, "What you doing?"
That's my table.
And this is for the kids having breakfast tomorrow morning. He was at the table, like, you know.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I guess I have to rethink this. So like, I like stacked everything up on the back, on the bottom of the, at the table, and then when the kids left for school, I set the table.
Did you have another question?
What were you saying about Mechazula, that working? I missed the first like 5 minutes, so I apologize.
This is something that Rabbi Pransky told me. I didn't see it inside personally, but the Shulchan Aruch says that no bracha comes on work done consistently after Mincha Gedola, which is about 30 minutes from Chatzos.
What is
It's very similar time.
consistently?
I thought Mechazula was like an hour before.
No, that's plot.
It's very confusing. Mincha Gedola and Katana. Mincha Gedola is actually earlier than Mincha Katana. It's not intuitive.
It's like a half hour after Chatzos.
I think so.
It's just like, oh, like I don't know, somebody's crying, somebody's this, somebody's like.
That's gonna happen anyway.
Okay, one second. Can I give Sarfigi a little background here,
No.
please? No. Okay.
Your sister's like, okay, what is going on?
She has quadruplets.
She was in the mishpacha this week. She has
Oh,
quadruplets.
wow.
Ami, circle. I don't know.
To get your
Circle.
signature.
Well, she writes
Mazel
for the
tov, mazel
mishpacha.
tov, mazel tov, mazel tov.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
No, someone. Okay, I'm
someone's
sorry. I
gonna be
keep
crying.
saying this. It's going to sound old, but someone posted on the chat. This is for you. Someone posted on the chat. My daughter is having a meltdown now. My 3-year-old is having a tantrum on the floor, and I'm sitting on the floor with her, and I'm calm. Your daughter, the tantrums are still going to happen, but what's going on in your head? Are there other things pulling you, or things are good? You could deal with the afamazikin or whatever's going on.
Right. You know, that's still gonna happen, but like, it's always the like putting stuff into the oven and then like warming up the food and then like putting the fridge on Shabbos mode and then like, I don't know, like those are some small things that I named, but like those type of things, like even if I have the food ready, it's always those type of things that I end up being busy with. You know what I'm
Right
saying?
before candlelighting, you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know why.
But
You can look at that
like-
list and see if any of it could be done Thursday. Put your fridge into Shabbos mode on Thursday.
Right.
Set
it's so
lights on
interesting.
Thursday. Just take a look at it.
Like,
This is
cutting paper
strategy.
towels, like, all these
Strategize.
things. I just end up being busy with it. You're right, I could do that.
Do it earlier. Do it while you're on the phone with someone.
But then, like,
That's the habit
Habit stacking.
Salmon has to be fresh.
Salmon
This
has
was
to
always
be.
my argument to you, right?
Am I wrong?
My argument to Sarfigi was always that. I
If
like
you
my
have-
chicken fresh.
A lot of people who are chatzosers have fresh food.
Wait, sorry.
Exactly. No, I think you got it.
I was
What's your?
repeating what you said.
Yeah. Oh,
Have it ready to go. Have it ready to go.
have it ready to go. I save, like, I have a raw apple crisp. I might peel the apples on Wednesday and slice them up, and I have the crisp in like a Ziploc bag, and of course I quadrupled it and put it in my freezer for a rainy day. Okay, maybe just doubled it.
It might be a little brown.
But I like the last thing that goes in. It's gonna
Tastes
get
the
brown.
same.
It's gonna get brown anyway. The last thing that goes into the oven should smell sweet. So you would think fish goes, because it has the shortest shelf life, but I save my apple crisp. It's not Shabbos without apple crisp. Last thing to go into the oven. And by the way, little nugget of gold from Mishpacha magazine when I wrote a column called The Taste of Shabbos. The Baba Ravi says that cooked plums on Shabbos is a skula for simcha. No idea why. One of many little tidbits I picked up. So if you're gonna make an apple crisp, throw in a plum.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's a lot of things you can have raw from Wednesday, Thursday, and just stick it in the oven on Friday.
So can I just ask like one question? Like,
Yes.
what time doesn't come across from? Like,
Go for it.
do you find like since you started doing this, like your food is less fresh? Like, I just want to know.
The question is, what's your priority?
Right, it's true. Right.
The intense, immense bracha that's on one side,
And calm.
or a little bit of a fresher piece of salmon? Is that even a question? No judgment if it is. Now I'm asking you a blunt question. So, and it's the same thing with the dips. Yes, dips are so much fun. Yes, desserts are so much fun, but we overdo it.
Right, it's true.